party people, let's talk about the issues I have with the Black Girl Follow train. Now, I know it's a movement about empowering Black women and Black businesses on TikTok, but there are a few issues with it, and so let's dive into it. A little bit of context of why I'm even talking about this. So a few weeks ago, it was trending on TikTok to follow Black women following each other. And it even went to the point that on Twitter, there were other white women who were upset that Black women had even created this trend and saying how racist it was. We're not going to talk about that, but that's kind of where it started from. So all these Black women were getting like huge followings doing this train. So basically they were using this particular sound, and on the sound they would just say follow them. They might introduce themselves. A lot of people were doing this little vote thing. So I didn't participate in the trend in that way, but I did tag a few videos and say Black Girl Follow train, and I was able to actually get my following over the hump of 1,000, because I was at like maybe 900 something. So I was like, you know what, I want to go over 1,000 so that I will be able to get the features that are unlocked once you get 1,000 followers on TikTok. So once I made the 1,000 followers, I stopped pretty much dealing with the train. I'm going to tell you the issues with the trend, and just the issue with people just being consumed with having followers and no background behind why they even want followers. So we know it's social media, right? Everyone wants this huge number of following. When you put your content out, it's about numbers, it's about numbers, it's about numbers. But the issue with the Black Girl Follow train is that if you decide that you're going to have all these people follow you, but you don't actually have a content strategy, after all these people follow you, it's going to mess with your engagement rate, because they're not going to actually engage with your content. So that's the number one issue with saying follow me just for the vanity and the number metrics, but you don't have an actual plan for content. So because of the trend, I started following other Black women, and so what I realized, since I was following them, they were coming up in my feed when I was on TikTok, but they weren't actually creating any type of engaging content. They had this following, right, and they were excited about all these people following them, so then they're just posting videos, but they weren't videos that I really was going to connect with, right? And even on TikTok, a few people highlighted, like, we can't just follow each other, we have to engage with each other. But the problem with putting this, like, oh, we're Black, we have to follow each other, putting this obligation on people, is that you're not naturally drawn to the content, right? It doesn't actually help the creator become better at creating content if we're just liking stuff that we don't actually even really care about. You know, I saw random videos where people are like dancing, but it's just super random, like, okay, you know, it's not like they are naturally dancers and they're actually enjoying this. It's like, okay, this is what people do on TikTok, so I'm going to do that as well. Like, that's not going to create a lasting following, a lasting engagement. And that is the point of being a content creator, and that is the point of having an audience, is that you're creating content that they can engage with and connect with. So my main issue with the train is that we're not focusing on creating content that's going to create a real community and a real connection. So that's how I feel when I've been watching Black women on social media. I don't feel like they're trying to create a community. I don't feel like they're trying to engage with their audience, and this isn't everyone, but this is a lot of people, right? It looks very much like, look at me, look at what I bought, look at what I ate, look at where I traveled, where it's like, how is that improving the person on the other side watching that video? What is the connection to it? How do I connect to that content? And I think that people have gravitated to it because it's aspirational content. It's not necessarily inspirational content. It's aspirational. I aspire to be that person, so I'm watching it because I want to be that person, not because it's actually helping me with my daily life. It becomes this friction on, okay, I'm watching this person spend all this money, but here I am trying to save for my kids' college and budget and buy high groceries, and we're leading up to a recession, and all I see when I follow a lot of Black women is buy this, consumer this, consume this, consume that, right? And that's who's sitting at the very top. And I talked about this in my last video, so make sure you check that out as well. So I don't want to just sit on here and rag on the Black Girl Follow train, because it is important for us to follow each other, and it is important for us to put our content out there and become an Alex Earl or whoever is a popular white girl on these social media platforms. But the way that we're going to actually do that is storytelling. I want you guys to start focusing on what story are you telling. And I don't mean that you're making this elaborate thing that's not really your life, but within your actual life, what is it that is going to connect with an audience? And you don't have to be talking to everyone. You can be talking to a particular person. So a good example is me being a stay-at-home mom, right? Instead of me being a stay-at-home mom who just talks about Target and Starbucks, I could talk about, well, when I was a stay-at-home mom, I could talk about the fact that I'm a Black woman. I never knew any stay-at-home moms, right? I was the first stay-at-home mom that I knew, right? I was the first stay-at-home mom that I knew. So there's that, right? And then within my journey of being a stay-at-home mom, we were living on one income. I was in a situation where I lived in a state where I didn't have any family right there with me, right? So all of this is pretty much on me. So I could talk about what it feels like to not be able to get a break or have a babysitter like on demand, or even really have money for a babysitter, like enough money just to make it through, you know, week to week, month to month. And then within that journey of being a stay-at-home mom, we started figuring out how to budget. So that is the very first thing that I talked about online, because I felt like people could relate to the fact that they're trying to live check to check and they want to get from under that debt, right? So that's what I was talking about. But even still, like sitting here today, I didn't realize all the stories that I could have told within that particular situation to connect me with the community and keep content going and going and going. So this is what you have to focus on, not just who is following you, but why are they following you, and what are you continuing to bring to them? And I know you guys hear this all the time, bring value, but it's important, right? And the way that you're actually going to figure out how to bring value is clarity. Clarity is going to be key on this journey. And I know these are terms that we hear all the time, but I am so clear on who I'm talking to right now that I have content ideas for days, right? And this is something that I was struggling with just a few weeks ago, but I have gotten so clear on who I am and what I'm bringing to this space. And I'm no longer trying to put this image that I'm going on trips with my family and that I'm spending money out the Wallamazoo every day and every month, because I'm not. And I'm not going to, because I have financial goals, right? So I have to share my real life in a way that connects with other people who I know have this same life, instead of trying to do these vanity metrics and like, hey, look at me, look at my life, look at this perfect thing that I have going on. And we're going to talk about routines too, because that's what we talk about, or what we see a lot in this content. But clarity, you guys, is going to be clear. Clarity obviously is clear, but clarity is going to be so important. I know that I'm talking to other Black moms with 1 to multiple children who are married, who live in the suburbs. They can live in the city, but live in the suburbs, who are cooking meals multiple times out the week. So they need something that's quick. They need meals that are affordable, right? They might want little hacks in the house that are affordable, little DIYs that I'm doing to help upgrade my house without spending a lot of money. Those are the things that they're going to connect to. When I talk about hair and makeup, I'm going to talk about it from the perspective of a mom who doesn't have a lot of time to beat down her face, and she's not going to be doing these intricate eye looks. When I first started doing makeup, I was thinking that that's what I should do because that's what I see. But that's not me, right? And that's not who I'm going to connect with, that I'm going to be able to hold their attention, right? So that we're both mutually benefiting from this relationship of me putting out content and them viewing the content, right? I need to be able to connect with what I'm putting out there and vice versa. So understanding that if I'm doing hair tips, I'm going to try to keep them affordable. I'm going to try to keep them quick because as a mom, you don't have a lot of time to be in the mirror, right? You also don't want to spend a lot of money on your hair. You're also having to maintain your daughter's hair. These are all things that I have to do, right? And instead of me just consuming this content and trying to model what I see, I need to become who I am and show that online, right? Not become who I am, I already am who I am, right? But tapping into what makes me me, right? And knowing that the things that are intimate and true about me are also true in other people, right? And that's how you build community, and that's how you gain that clarity, like really sitting down and figuring that out. And if you guys have questions on how to build clarity, I can make another video on that. Just let me know. And so the last thing that I want to touch on with the Black Girl Follow Train and just some of the Black girl content that I've been viewing online, there has been this push of like routines and being highly productive. And I had a seminar at work the other day, and they talked about how rest is a resistance to capitalism and white America views. And white American views are be as productive as you can, push out as much work as you can. Just think about the factories back in the day. They're like slaving people to produce all these different products so that they can make money. The person at the top of the chain can make money, right? So we are feeding into this with this, oh, how many brand campaigns can I get? Oh, I can wake up at 6 a.m. I can wake up at 5 a.m. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with goals, but you need to make sure that your goals align with your intrinsic values. Like, what do you care about, right? More important than how much money I have in my bank account are the relationships that I'm nurturing, the family that I have to take care of, being able to be available to them, to give them love and support, and vice versa, be able to get that love and support from them and be available to spend time with those who are close to us and who we love. That is more important than how many people are following us, how many people liked the way that my house looked or my car looked, right? All these material things that are being pushed to us. You have to sit back and just sometimes remove yourself from that and get out of that noise, right? And figure out how you can stand out within who you actually are. The closer you get to showing who you are online is the closer that you're going to build a community that you're proud of, and it's not built on something that doesn't have any substance, right? My material things in my house do not make me who I am. They are not the substance of me. They are not my soul. And that is what is most important. And if you're a believer or not, your soul is more important than these things around you, how early you wake up, how much you got done in a day. No, you don't want to sit around and do nothing, right? You want to take care of your things. You want to take care of your home. You want to take care of your family, but not in a rate that's messing with the quality of your life. It's important for you to actually take care of yourself. So I honestly could talk about this all day. I don't want to go too much on a tangent, but I want you guys to just be conscious of what's going on in social media and just taking an assessment to see if it is really as healthy to be taking in this aspirational content and not inspirational content, and content that is helping you to really pick the areas in your life that you want to improve. And also not pushing this, I always got to be improving. Like, it's basically saying that you're not good enough how you are in this very moment. And you are enough in this moment, even with your flaws. You can work on your flaws, but you need to understand you are good where you are, how you are right now, right? You don't need to be picking yourself apart 24/7 to fit this standard that you saw on the internet for 5 seconds, 30 seconds, right? And it's not to say that that isn't real for them, but what is going to be for real for you, what is true for you, and really thinking and tapping into your actual values and making sure that your life lines up with your values, right? Not this aesthetic and standard that has been pushed online. That's not really, it's not realistic. It just really isn't. Yeah, so I hope that helped you guys. Everything that I'm talking about are things that I have experienced and I am going through and I'm working through, and basically rewiring my brain to make sure that I'm showing up authentically. And I know that word is on overkill, but I think right now we are craving community, we are craving connection, and the way that we're going to do that is tapping into who we are and showing up authentically online. There's just no ways around that. So yeah, that is all I have to say on that subject. It's like a mic drop. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will see you next week. And remember, good, better, best. Never let it rest until your good is your better and your better is your best. Peace.